Okay, so think about this for a second. What if we could build a whole financial system that wasn't controlled by banks or government, but by pure code? That's the giant idea really at the heart of the crypto revolution. And in this explainer, we're going to break down how this wild, transformative technology actually works. Yeah, this quote really sets the stage, doesn't it? We're not just talking about some new app for sending your friends money. No. We are talking about fundamentally rewriting the rules of trust, ownership, and value from the ground up. It is a massive technological and social shift. All right, here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to dig into the problem that started this whole thing. Then, we'll look at Bitcoin's pretty radical solution. From there, we'll see how that one idea exploded into a whole new world of finance. And finally, we'll tackle the very real challenges that are still out there on this new frontier.
Okay, so to really get why this revolution was even needed, we have to start with the big question. What was so broken about the money we were all using anyway?
And you know, these pain points are things a lot of us can relate to. Have you ever tried to send money to family overseas and just watch these crazy fees get shaved off the top? Or maybe you're a small business owner waiting days, literally days, for a payment to clear. And here's the biggest one. Billions of people on this planet are completely locked out of the banking system altogether. These aren't just small annoyances. They're huge roadblocks to economic freedom. And then, this happened. The 2008 financial crisis. This was the spark that lit the whole fuse. It wasn't just about numbers on a screen. It was a complete, catastrophic failure of trust. All these centralized institutions, with their hidden deals and backroom decisions, they brought the entire global economy to its knees.
And right in the middle of all that chaos, an answer quietly emerged. An idea built on the complete opposite of the system that had just failed us. Radical transparency and absolutely no central control. And that, of course, brings us to Bitcoin.
So, this mysterious person, or group we still don't know, called Satoshi Nakamoto, releases a paper, and it proposes this, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And the genius of it, the core innovation, was just one thing, getting rid of the middleman. No bank, no government, just a direct, secure way to send value from one person to another anywhere on Earth.
And this number, 21 million, this is absolutely key to understanding Bitcoin. See, unlike our normal currencies, which governments can just print more and more of, inflation, Bitcoin has a hard cap that's written right into the code. Only 21 million will ever exist. And that creates something totally new, provable digital scarcity.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth is this all-cap safe? Well, that's where the blockchain comes in. It's basically a global, public, digital receipt book that everyone can see. Here's how it works. First, a bunch of transactions get bundled together into a block. Then, computers all over the world compete to verify that block is legit. Once it's verified, it gets sealed with this unique digital fingerprint called a hash. And then, this is the chain part, it gets linked to the block before it, creating this permanent, unchangeable record. It's what makes it so secure. I mean, to change just one transaction, you'd have to go back and redo all the work for every single block that came after it. It's basically impossible.
So Bitcoin was amazing. It proved, hey, we can do money without a bank. But that, of course, sparked an even bigger question. If we can decentralize money, what else could we decentralize? And that led to the next giant leap in the space, the idea of a world computer.
And this is really the core idea behind Ethereum, the next big blockchain that came along. It's called a smart contract. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a digital vending machine, right? You put $1 in, that's the input, and the machine automatically gives you a candy bar. That's the output. No person involved. A smart contract does the exact same thing, but for agreements. It automatically follows the rules. No lawyers or courts needed.
And when you compare them side by side, you can see just how big a deal this is. We're moving from a world where we have to trust people and institutions to a world where we can just trust transparent, open code. So instead of slow, expensive lawyers and courts, you get instant, automatic enforcement by the network. It's a world where the saying goes, code is law. So once you have these new programmable building blocks, what can you actually build with them? Well, it turns out you can build a whole new financial world.
First things first, they had to solve the volatility problem. I mean, Bitcoin's price can go all over the place, which isn't exactly great if you're trying to buy a coffee. That's where stablecoins come in. They're cryptocurrencies that are pegged to a stable asset, like the US dollar. So you get all the benefits of crypto, the speed, the low fees, but with the stability we're all used to. They are the absolute essential bridge to the real world.
And that stability really opened the floodgates for what we now call DeFi, or decentralized finance. The best way to picture it is, imagine rebuilding all of Wall Street. Lending, borrowing, trading, you name it, but instead of it happening behind closed doors in big corporate buildings, it's all built on open, transparent code. You could get a loan, not from a bank that can say no, but directly from a global pool of money that's run by a smart contract. And the craziest part? Anyone with an internet connection can tap into it.
Okay, and then we have the solution to a problem that's as old as the internet itself: true digital ownership. Think about it. Before this, any picture, any song, any digital file could be copied a million times. Who owned the original? An NFT, a non-fungible token, is basically a unique, unforgeable digital certificate of ownership that lives on the blockchain. It proves who owns the real deal. And this, as you can imagine, was an absolute game changer for digital artists, musicians, and collectors. But, and this is a really big but, this new frontier is a bit like the Wild West. It's not all smooth sailing, and it is absolutely crucial that we talk about the risks and the responsibilities that come with all this powerful new tech.
One of the biggest criticisms for sure has been about sustainability. Bitcoin's security model, called proof of work, is unbelievably secure, but man, does it use a lot of energy. So, in response, the industry has been making a huge shift to something called proof of stake. That's what Ethereum and most of the newer chains use now. Instead of using raw computing power to secure the network, it uses staked capital. And the result? It's about 99.9% more energy efficient. That is a massive difference.
And look, the personal risks are very, very real. You've got scams everywhere, like rug pulls where developers just vanish with everyone's money, and security is everything. There's a famous saying, not your keys, not your crypto. It means if you don't control your private keys, you don't truly own your assets. You really are your own bank, for better or for worse. And on top of all that, nobody really knows what the rules are going to be. Regulation is still being figured out all over the world, and that creates a ton of uncertainty.
So, when you zoom out and look at the big picture, when you boil it all down, what is this really all about? It's this. We are in the middle of a massive shift. A shift away from trusting centralized institutions to trusting decentralized networks that agree on things using pure code and math.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound question, doesn't it? As all of this technology grows up, who do we want in control of the future of money? Are we going to stick with the central banks and traditional institutions we've always had? Or are we going to put our trust in open code and decentralized communities? Honestly, the answer isn't clear at all. But what is clear is that for the first time in history, we actually get to have that debate. We actually have a choice.